Well, welcome everybody. My name is Kerry Corlett. I'm the founder and CEO of Annex Pro, and it's a real pleasure to have you join us here for Webinar Wednesdays. Annex Pro likes to try and do one of these webinars every month, and we try to do them on a Wednesday at the same time. So if you're interested in any upcoming events like this, please go to annexpro.com and just join, just subscribe, and we'll make sure that you get notified. For those of you that aren't familiar, Annex Pro is known as a value-added reseller. We are based in Vancouver. Our headquarters are Vancouver, Canada, and we have branch offices in Toronto and in Montreal, and also an office in Burbank, California. So we're Canada-based, and our specialty is providing technology solutions to the media and entertainment industry. So in addition to working with customers who record music and do audio post, we also deal with video editorial systems and storage. We also provide software for animation and visual effects, and then all the hardware that goes around and all the systems that kind of run that software. So if you have interests outside of audio, we'd be happy to speak with you about any of that. And you can get more information at annexpro.com. The company is about 37 years old. We have just shy of 20 people coast to coast. And it's a real pleasure for us to welcome our partners, Avid, Dolby, and Dell to this webinar, and especially our great friends at Company 3 Toronto, who have kindly volunteered to come and speak with us today. So we really, really appreciate the involvement. What I'd like to do then is just let you know quickly, we're going to have a few comments from Dell, and then Avid, and then Dolby. And then we're going to move right into Company 3 Toronto with their presentation. As has already been mentioned, Q&A window is completely open. After the main session, we're going to do some Q&A, and at the very end, we will do our draw for Pro Tools Ultimate license. It's a one-year license, it's valued at $1,000. So stick around, and you might be the lucky winner. All right, let's kick it off then. I'd like to welcome Ziad Najjar from Dell. Ziad comes from an engineering background and has been in the technology field for more than 25 years. He's held a number of leadership roles and currently is leading a national team of technologists and subject matter experts in areas such as AI, big data, and data analytics, and high performance computing. Ziad's team is focused on enabling customers to leverage technology to achieve their business objectives. And prior to his current role, Ziad led and helped establish different teams and practices with different areas of focus and skill sets, from sales to technical backgrounds. So Ziad, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Kerry. And you know what? I really appreciate being part of this great event. So can everybody see the screen before we start?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Before I pass it to Thomas Armstrong, who leads our media and entertainment practice for Dell Canada, I want to definitely thank Kerry, Annex Pro, for including us in this great event and give us the chance to speak to each one of you there. So, and as well as I would love to start from the market. I would like just to talk on a very high level about very important journey that a lot of customers are taking in the industry today. And this is mainly around the digital transformation, leveraging technology, where we are seeing way more customers, especially in the last 2 years, moving into evaluators, adopters of new technology. And not only this, actually with key focus areas, and it's these focus areas mainly around security, no surprise with remote kind of calls everywhere, data management, data lifecycle, consumption model, as you're talking about cloud, hybrid cloud, and, as a service kind of approach. And this is all begin, it's when, the infrastructure world, the virtual world, the physical world meeting. So overall, when you look at the amount of data getting created almost on daily basis, the new technology leveraged, it have contributed very positively to the change of the overall business. Not only this, a lot of the businesses we're seeing are, evolving from being operational centric, IT centric, to more kind of business centric, data centric as well. This has positively influenced a lot of industries from retail, telco, smart manufacturing, and absolutely no question asked, it's mainly around the media and entertainment, with all the sub industries, including in that industry at all different stages, from pre-production, production to post-production. And again, the key focus areas here, as it comes especially to the infrastructure and IT, it's around performance, consumption model, and security. So I would just pass it to Thomas Armstrong to do a little bit, a couple minutes update. Again, thank you very much, Annex Pro. We can't do this definitely without a very wide range of partner ecosystem, from technology partners to services and application partners such as Annex Pro. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. Thomas?
Thank you, Ziad. Just give it a second for my screen to share. I believe it should be showing now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So thanks, Ziad, for that introduction. I'm responsible for our media and entertainment practice in Canada, leading kind of our cross-functional team here. When we look at media and entertainment and VFX in particular, as Dell Technologies, we really look at the solutions we're able to provide to help move our customers' workloads forward. So when we look at our stack, we really look here at your application level, which is really where we work with our partners like Annex Pro to help get you the right solutions and help enable getting the right infrastructure beneath those. When we look at this from a Dell Technologies perspective, we've really been leading the pack with solutions from storage and servers, and then also looking at, based on those solutions, how do customers consume those pieces. So we've been working a lot with our financial services arm to help customers scale up and scale out the right infrastructure at the right time to get the solutions in place that they need. We've been leading the industry with Isilon for many years now, rebranded as PowerScale. That's our scale out high performance file system that's been very successful in media and entertainment over the last few years. And as well, we've done a lot of work with our Dell PowerEdge lineup. That's something that we've actually just recently refreshed. And so what I'll show you right now is the, oh, and it doesn't want to do next slide for me. There we go. There we go. So we actually recently released 17 new platforms from our compute offerings, many of them optimized for what we consider to be high performance computing workloads. So we've released new versions of our high density C-series platform, which is really used for render a lot in media and entertainment, and HPC across the country. So this is the backbone of what we see a lot in research as well as in media and entertainment. Extremely high density. We're able to actually get 512 cores in a single 2U package with this technology. We've also partnered a lot with Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA to really make sure that we have the most advanced technologies available for our customers. So we've come out with special GPU optimized options as well for people who are looking at GPU enabled render. We have a number of different platforms to optimize getting the right number of GPU cores, getting those modules into data centers as quickly and easily as possible. So this is all new that we've just launched in the last couple of months, and we'd love to have a conversation with you with Annex Pro if you're interested in hearing more.
Thank you very much, Thomas and Ziad. We appreciate that. I'm getting a little bit of, oh, there we go. Good, just had a little echo there. For an audio audience, we want to be careful of our echo. Thanks so much, guys from Dell. We really appreciate it. I'd like to go right into the Avid portion for about 5 minutes. We have with us a good friend of Annex Pro, Jeff Komar. He's a 20-year veteran of the Avid Solutions Specialist team. focusing on professional audio products. Jeff is a musician, an engineer, and a technician who enjoys helping creative people navigate the flux of technology. Jeff has played a key role in many high-level demonstrations for Avid at industry events in the US and around the world, including at AES, the NAMM Show, NAB, and IBC. Jeff has been instrumental in helping major facilities to optimize their workflow by integrating solutions from Avid. And we've had the pleasure of working with Jeff for a very long time with our customers in Canada with Annex Pro. And so it's my great pleasure to introduce Jeff Comar from Avid.
Thanks very much, Kerry, and thanks Annex Pro for hosting this. Very, very cool to be part of this. I'm going to share my screen also, so stand by just 1 second here, and we're going to get started. Okay, so in a very short period of time, I would like to talk about our solutions, both software and hardware for working in Dolby Atmos. And we have a large collection of options, really trying to optimize the way that you are able to work in this really compelling format of immersive audio. And that's a combination of Pro Tools Ultimate and our workstation class control surfaces like S4, S6, and then the backbone of our audio engine HDX, and then also the Matrix family of modular scalable interfaces. So we started our journey with Dolby back with Pro Tools 12.8, and this was a really big deal. This was all about making it easier to work in Atmos, whether you're doing music or post-production films, television, but really tried to solve and to attenuate all of the real pain points that made it challenging and difficult to work in this format. And we had an amazing collaboration with Dolby on that. And we're not stopping. We're continuing to improve the capabilities by leveraging and implementing new functionality into Pro Tools. And over the past couple of releases of Pro Tools, you can actually see that directly. Things like ADM importing into Pro Tools and expanded functionality in terms of preserving, obviously the object beds in groups, being able to create log files of how those beds and objects are allocated, new workflows for how we communicate with the renderer and things like fold downs, being able to instantly now create, pull from the renderer and basically create a setup in the IO setup, including when you want to use stereo objects. And then faster than real-time offline bounce export to ADM, which is a huge time savings, and being able to create deliverables right from Pro Tools. So that is really the continuation of expanding the functionality and the simplicity of working in this really compelling format. So this is all about really kind of putting pieces together, depending on your use case and what types of work you're doing, whether it's theatrical, whether it's television, whether it's even music production for Atmos. We have really compelling solutions that can scale very large with expanded S6 systems, dual operator, triple operator, integrating monitoring and IO and patching with Matrix, having full capability with regard to control room monitoring and monitoring everything coming off of the renderer, be it the speakers, the fold downs, the binaurals, all of that. Integrated KVM solutions so that you can instantly interrogate multiple source machines or the recorder, and just having a really compelling way to manage massive Atmos-based sessions. The Matrix family of interfaces, certainly our flagship Matrix, is a really important part of that solution because it offers tremendous connectivity, both with Dante as well as the ability to do monitoring. We've got the ability to do B-chain and actually completely tune an Atmos environment and have delays and trims and all that kind of thing. But also the ability to attach multiple HDX systems via DigiLink, which is really powerful. You'll see on the next slide, basically showing the connectivity on a single flagship matrix of multiple source machines and recorders all on one single matrix, which I think is very, very compelling. And then having a MADI-based renderer connected directly to the chassis on that guy. Before we get to that, I did want to mention that we've just recently refreshed our synchronization offering with something called SyncX, and we've really kind of doubled down on what we offered previously with Sync HD, being able to do multiple clock outputs, now video ref generation, automatic detection, really your master clock, master synchronization peripheral in your studio environment. And this is the slide I was referring to with regard to Matrix, just how powerful one Matrix is. You can see we can connect dialogue, sound effects, multi-card sound effects, music, and a recorder to basically to ingest all of those deliverables, all on a single Matrix box. So super, super powerful. A couple last things I wanted to mention is that we do have in our education department a really compelling Pro Tools Dolby Atmos production course that is now available. If you go to avid.com/education, you can check it out, but it's an instructor-led courseware that was developed in collaboration with Dolby. So check that out. And thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate you mentioning the training options as well. Now, if a lot of that made sense, if some of that didn't make sense to you, please contact Annex Pro. We'd be happy to expand on it. And if it did make sense to you, we also want to speak with you because that's really one of our specialties at Annex Pro, is around this area. So thanks so much again, Jeff, for being here this morning and this afternoon, depending on what time zone we're in. I would like to also, so now introduce our sponsors and partners from Dolby. Tom McAndrew is the Senior Technical Manager for Content Relations at Dolby Laboratories, evangelizing Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision technologies for streaming and optical media. Prior to Dolby, Tom was a sound designer at Henninger Video, doing documentary sound design, most notably for Discovery's military aviation series Wings and the Emmy-nominated Vietnam POWs Stories of Survival. Great to have Tom with us here today. And I know you've got other members of your team, so if they could introduce themselves, that would be great. Tom and Dolby, you have the floor.
All right, thanks a lot, Kerry. And thanks to everyone for joining us. I also have Mark Chesler from Dolby, New York. So we have both coasts with us. I'm in the Los Angeles office, although currently I'm in the emergency backup Northridge office. But I have 5 minutes to talk about the Dolby Atmos content creation and consumer ecosystem. So I've had my 8 cups of coffee and let's jump right in. So first of all, slide advance, there we go. So when Dolby Atmos first came home in 2014, this is what the ecosystem looked like. Only one of the Hollywood studios, a few streamers, a few consumer electronics companies. And here's where we are today. So it's really a rich ecosystem of content creators, distributors, and all kinds of consumer electronics doodads where people could get a Dolby Atmos experience at mainstream prices. It's no longer just for the home theater enthusiasts. You can walk into a big box store and get a Dolby Atmos capable soundbar for like $300 US. So lots and lots of ways for consumers to get an Atmos experience. Since inception, almost 2,000 movies have been released in Dolby Atmos, and over 1,000 of those are already available in home, either on Shiny Disc or on various worldwide streaming services. Streaming originals have also gone full on into Dolby Atmos. Here we see Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, and I wanted to just demonstrate that, Dolby Atmos isn't just for, sci-fi, action, shoot 'em up type movies. This slide shows you, period dramas and animation and comedies and dramas, in addition to, of course, sci-fi, documentaries. So, what I want to get across is Dolby Atmos basically can enhance any type of content experience. HBO Max is the newest streaming service that is releasing in Dolby Atmos. All of their day-and-date theatrical titles are also coming home in Atmos, as well as Dolby Vision throughout 2021. Dolby Atmos Music has become big. Most of the major music distribution companies are now remixing their catalogs as well as new releases in Atmos. And we have huge buy-in from artists. Artists hear Atmos and they immediately go, I want to do that. I want to release my music in Dolby Atmos. And it's available for consumers to hear either on smart speakers or on mobile devices, and certain brands of enabled televisions. Amazon Music HD, Tidal are streaming Dolby Atmos music to consumers today. Also gaming. Atmos has become big in gaming. Lots of titles have been released in Dolby Atmos, with 25 more coming in 2022. And last year's Game Awards, 3 out of the 6 nominees, including the winner, utilized Dolby Atmos in their games. And this is kind of the whole tale of everything, every way that a consumer can get an Atmos experience, from TVs to AVRs to speaker systems, sound bars, smartphones and tablets, and PCs. And finally, in addition to music, we are now getting into Dolby Atmos for podcasting. That's kind of the next frontier for us. And immersive fictional storytelling we see as, Dolby Atmos as a natural match for that kind of storytelling. Content creators like QCode Media are already using Dolby Atmos tools. Now, what they're currently delivering today is a pre-baked 2-channel binaural, but we see the opportunity very soon where streaming platforms are going to enable the Dolby codecs in order to deliver true Atmos experiences, not only to headphones, but again, also to smart speakers, and soon even automotive. Lucid just announced their Lucid Air car is going to have Dolby Atmos built right into the car. I've heard Atmos for automotive, and it's amazing, and it just opens up whole new opportunities for consumers to get Atmos experiences. So there are 2 Dolby products that render Dolby Atmos. First of all, the Dolby Atmos Mastering Suite. This is the full hardware and software solution, perhaps to be loaded on a Dell frame. But it's available for Mac and PC, iOS, Matti or Dante. It includes 3 seats of Dolby Atmos Production Suite, and it's available from Annex Pro. Dolby Atmos Production Suite, this is the mainstream tool, significantly less expensive. It's $299 US on the Avid store. And really, it's optimized for, all but the most complex mix projects. And content creators and the mixers can get a free 3-month demo at developer.dolby.com. The tools also let you render offline, so you don't have to tie up your dub stage doing your Dolby Atmos mix and then doing all your sub-deliverables like stems, M&Es, channel-based re-renders. All that can happen in the box. You're going to hear a lot more from the company 3 folks, and you already heard some from Avid, so you know what, I'm going to skip this slide. Dolby Atmos Conversion Tool, this is kind of our Swiss Army knife for post facilities to modify Dolby Atmos files in terms of converting from theatrical to home, converting different type mezzanine file formats, including IAB for IMF. Converting frame rate, concatenating reels together, or maybe adding head or tail logos, adding silence, anything you need to do to Atmos. Our newish version 2.0 Dolby Atmos conversion tool is now available, and it's free. I mentioned IMF last slide. This is where a lot of streaming providers are going. Instead of receiving individual video and audio elementaries, they want things delivered in an IMF package. And Dolby Atmos, all of our own tools are capable of delivering IAB audio for IMF, in addition to third-party QC and packaging tools. International dubbing. This is another big push for us right now. A lot of Hollywood studios and streaming originals companies are doing Dolby Atmos for their primary language, and they're even delivering a fully filled Dolby Atmos M&E. But currently, all they're doing is putting it on the shelf, and we see that as a huge opportunity to deliver a Dolby Atmos, not just in the original language, but, for example, Canadian French. So, the thing is, if you have a 5.1 M&E or a Dolby Atmos M&E, you're marrying it to the same dialogue stem. And to oversimplify the process a little bit, it's essentially a 2-finger mix. But when you deliver, with 5.1 M&E, you're going to get a 5.1 dub. When you deliver mixing to a Dolby Atmos M&E, you're going to get Dolby Atmos as well as easily automatically re-rendered 5.1 stereo, whatever you need. And you know what? That's going to make your customers happy. So we see foreign language versioning as a real growth opportunity for post facilities who want to deliver Dolby Atmos, not only native language, but also provide dubbing services. So is it time to upgrade your mix room to Dolby Atmos? It's not that complicated. I'm going to put up a QR code right here. If you shoot that code, that will take you to our website. That'll give you our room design guide download link, and it tells you all kinds of things like room volumes, speaker and amp requirements, angles from the speakers to the listening positions. Anything you need to know about building your own Dolby Atmos room is going to be contained in that guide. So that is my presentation. I think I stuck to 5-ish minutes, so I'll stop my screen share and hand over to the next presenter. So thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it. And thanks for mentioning that how much activity we're seeing from Netflix looking for their mixes in Dolby Atmos now. That's what's really driving a lot of the activity for us as a reseller. And we've gotten very busy across Canada last year and this year, helping people get their Dolby, their rooms Atmos ready. And now the moment we've been waiting for, I'd like to introduce Mike Baskerville from Company 3 Toronto. Thank you for being with us here today. Mike Baskerville is an award-winning re-recording mixer who has been one of Toronto's leading audio professionals for over 30 years. Mike is currently the manager of sound operations at Company 3, formerly known as Deluxe, Toronto. And a few of his credits include Guillermo del Toro's Academy Award-winning feature, The Shape of Water, Amazon sci-fi series, The Expanse, hit franchise Resident Evil, and Netflix feature, Polar. So it truly is a pleasure to introduce Mike Baskerville from Company 3 in Toronto. Mike, take it away, and thanks again.
Great. Again, I'd like to thank Annex Pro for inviting us today to participate in this. I'm here in Mix 1 at Company 3, and just welcome everyone who's taken the time today to attend. For those of you who don't, we'll just show a little bit of the room, get a look of this is one of our Atmos rooms. For those of you who don't know us here at Company 3, we are a full service picture and sound facility from capture on location to you see here the final product, whether it's in theaters, streamers, or the network. We have our hands in all aspects of the post process. Today we're going to focus on the sound finishing side of Company 3. It's centered around pre-mixing and final mixing, and the creation of master deliverables. The tools that we use to accomplish a lot of this work, we're excited to have most of, if not all, of the aforementioned technologies in this presentation so far today. Looking at this, I mean, it's like mixing and maybe showing a little bit of my gray hair from the introduction. I've been doing this for a little while, but I mean, just as mixing, started out mono, goes stereo, quad, whether it's Dolby Surround, digital 5.1 and 7.1 and so on, all used to be the norms. We're finding now that the normal format is Atmos. It's, besides being a really great format, it is also the main requested format from our clients to work in. I also think a big part of this shift is due to the streamers and their demands for the high quality post audio workflow, which is good. We welcome these workflows. It's one of the main reasons all of our mix rooms here at Company 3 are capable of HD Atmos. Mix 1, the room I'm currently in, and I think you got a little bit of a view of it as we were just talking about the intro, to see how it's laid out. We do have a Dell HT RMU in this room, stands for the home theater, and we also have a cinema RMU in this room. The other 4 mixed rooms here all have the Dell HT RMUs for Atmos mixing. Obviously, with demands, like I say, coming from the clients and workflows, we've outfitted all our spaces. We don't, well, to the engineering guys' disappointment, we don't have shots of the equipment rooms or the machine rooms where a lot of this gear resides, but they have a big part in setting up this gear and stuff as well. This room that we're sitting here now, and I think in the shot, if you can see behind me here, is we are configured in here to monitor and mix in 5.1, 7.1, 7.1.4, and 36 channel Cinema Atmos. We have the primary mixing surfaces in this room are the Avid S6. We have two of them here behind me. They're both fully loaded up with their Mac Pro 7.1s running the latest 2021 software. We have them here. We actually run the satellite system that has been mentioned as well. That's the major form of synchronization here, is running satellite. The satellite also is run in all our mix rooms. Not only is the primary mixing tools in here Avid S6, it's also Avid on our other 4 stages. Predominantly, the way the workflow works with the 2 setups, we usually have a major Mac Pro running in one S6 that would carry dialogue and music. It's typically a dual or triple HDX system. Then we have an effects system on the other side. It is typically a triple HDX system for carrying sound effects and Foley. This particular room, though, sometimes we may add another 2 or 3 systems onto the satellite bus. Music sometimes wants to go on and offline, so it allows the music editor to work on it, the bus to keep rolling, or as well as if they want another mixer running Foley or something separately, we're able to accommodate that as well. Both these systems would be routed into the recorder. The recorder is a main functioning part of this setup, and then the recorder would interface with your RMU. Typically, whether it's HT Atmos or home Atmos, just depends on what happens to be happening in the room that day. It's been another sort of just a weird circumstance. Another reason it's sort of, we monitor 7.1.4 in here, just with the crazy pandemic out there. We do use this room to do reviews in. So sometimes if we have mixers mixing downstairs, it gives us a place that's physically distanced so clients can come in and be comfortable and do playbacks. And we do live interactive playbacks to downstairs, as well as we use other technologies to go out to the outside world. Not only may we be streaming here, we could be using other third-party technologies to stream the Atmos stream to another facility, or even into people's houses on using like pro iPads or MacBook Pros and listening on headphones. Quite involved, but it works well under the circumstances. We try to keep, we have, I think, it's quite a bit, might be 22 Pro Tools systems here, all running on 2021. We try to keep them all up to date with the same plugins, monitors, the systems, playbacks, the speakers in all the rooms. This is a fairly large room, but we keep our monitoring system. It's all JBL M2 master reference. We do keep that the same as our downstairs rooms, or the rooms on the 7th floor. We have a couple of floors here. It allows for continuity between the spaces, pre-dubbing in the smaller rooms, or even sometimes if we are, or if we're mastering up here or mixing up here in large format, then we can go downstairs and do near field formats and keep a great consistency between what the clients are hearing and the translation between the spaces and the rooms that we have. like I said, so that's a lot of the layout and the Dolby. We're big fans of this shift to the Atmos format. I mean, not only having this format here with us at Company 3, it benefits us in being able to do a lot of the high-end work for all of our clients. Another main thing though, but our mix teams as well, it makes mixing even more fun for them. And they really feel that the creative options that open up to them seem to be limitless. And I think that's a sort of important thing. I mean, we've all sort of gone through the different formats, and now with the capability, I mean, maybe not to get too much in, but I mean, not only do you have the array base and placement, the Atmos, a key thing to it, that it introduces object panning and giving you way more flexibility in the presentation, immersiveness of a mix, whether it be the small or big screen, which is really unique. The thing, and then again, as part, I mean, as much fun though as our mixers do have working in the Atmos format, sort of for a facility like us, it has had its challenges as well. A lot of it has come with larger track counts, more I/O, systems needing better processing power, amplification, speakers in our mix rooms as well. We've done a lot of this upgrading with the partners, a lot of them that are here on this presentation again today. Some rooms are a little more challenging than others to outfit. This one being a premier space is had a lot more to go into it, being a 36 channel Atmos room. Downstairs, all our 714 rooms, not quite as much, but definitely well worth the investment in going that way, just creatively and for clients, and being able to handle all their infrastructure needs. Because when having described the mix flow and formats, and having the RMU, the HD RMU is tricky because which comes with this workflow and being able to provide for the streamers is the larger track counts as well. Like if you're doing a couple of 712 beds that would be playing out into 714 at the same time, you have to be able to do re-renders of all of those track counts. They got to be able to break down into 5.1s, sometimes 5.0 and 2.0, and all the different departments as well. Typically with the I/O, we have a 128 throughput through everything. We're actually able to set up a recorder that's able to take the master beds and a lot of the re-renders. Then the main part of that too, it seems the mixing sometimes now seems to be the easy part, because with the deliverables in the back end and the demands for these streamers, we have they have a lot, the international delivery, the M&E, the fully filled effects, the option tracks and that sort of thing. They all need the same treatment as well and have to be as mixed. So, and then at back end, you also have tight delivery. So by having the hardware equipment and the hardware RMUs, it allows us to we can record live on the 712 beds. We can be monitoring and listening in the Atmos and re-rendering simultaneously. We set up separate sessions then for our M&E, because then we have to create the beds again, but then fully filled in Atmos, the M&E, and then fold downs as well. For quick fixes and turnarounds, you want to be able to go in and do a quick punch and punch into all these elements. So having the hardware and the I/O through with the Pro Tools and the systems and the interfaces, be able to do that is key to our workflows in this setup. So that's a nutshell of some of the workflows that we have here with the setup and using all these products. Not sure of the total group that's on today, but since we do predominantly mix, It's like it's mixing staff, mixing talent that we have. We also have third parties or other partners or suppliers, whether it be sound editorial or music composition, and that supply us the elements that we create the final products with here in this theater, which ends up being played at home. I think what's great about this setup, not everyone needs the infrastructure that we have. We need it and use it, and I think it's important to deliver the quality to these clients and providers, but then it can be scaled in such a way that a composer can have a setup and a computer at home that would be able to with virtual renders and stuff as well, would be able to create and do music in Atmos. Same with a lot of sound editorial, sound designers have small Atmos setups and stuff too, because the creative tools they have to make their workflows good, it also helps with our workflows as well. So it's nice that it's not only Atmos, say like in cinema, how it can be tiered. You can be working in a 36 channel room like this, and it can go out into a 48 channel room and it adapts. If a editor or someone has or a composer has a system at home, they can be working in their environment and it would adapt to this one. Another thing which is interesting to sort of touch on with this group and that we have, I thought maybe is we know and Jeff brought it up about the Avid training things they have. Being a facility like this too, we also have a lot of talented individuals here that work on our staff, from the engineering team to the mix team to even our re-recording mix assistants. It's kind of funny, we were just in the market looking, and I don't know if a lot of this technology has found its way into some of the educational schools and stuff out there where we may pull from. Again, sort of what I said about the editors, I think there's interesting ways and ways that they can get involved in access to this technology as well, and help in the market and training of individuals for this types of workflows. I think as I've gone, and again, with all this, it's funny in the different degrees of it. For us, a facility like us, to be at this level, to maintain this level, and then also when we have to do one room, we have to do all rooms. Again, we need that consistency and interchangeability. It's been great to have a partner such as Annex Pro to communicate with and do deals a lot with us, and things like this. The facility side stuff changes daily, as we all know, even whether it's the mix and even on the back end side. The mixers just come in and want to sit down at the desk and go, but there's a lot that goes on in the background of a facility like this to make it all go, and for them to come and touch the faders and make the magic that everyone hears at home. With that, I think that concludes. I think there's going to be a question and answer period that is open up to the group. If any questions have ever come up, that'd be great. But just thanks again for everyone who made the time today to come out and listen. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Mike. That was fantastic, and how exciting to see an inside glimpse of a studio that some of us have been lucky enough to tour and take a look at. And it's always good to hear that inside track. So thanks, Mike, and the team at Company 3 Toronto for setting up and participating and sharing these great insights with us today. We really appreciate that. So I'd like to encourage everybody to stick around. We're going to have a short Q&A session. So we've had some questions come in, both offline and online. So we'd like to answer that. And then right after that, we're going to have our draw for the Pro Tools Ultimate, valued at $1,000. So hang around for that. I would like to introduce Hugo Chevret. Hugo is a senior account manager at Annex Pro. Hugo handles the East region, which for us is Ontario and East. So he's based actually in Montreal. So one of our bilingual staff. Hugo's a media and entertainment industry insider. He's sold solutions for creative professionals for the past 15 years and is known for a high degree of technical knowledge and a laser focus on customer satisfaction. As mentioned, Hugo is fully bilingual, so he is somebody that is very popular in the Montreal area. And if you don't know Hugo and you're in the Eastern region of Canada, get to know him. I highly recommend it. You won't regret it. And he works with a lot of passion and a lot of concern for his customers and make sure that they always. So Hugo, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you to do some Q&A.
Thanks a lot, Kerry. So first, I would like to thank everyone on the panel. That was a great presentation. And also, I would like to say, pour les amis en français, pour les collègues francophones, n'hésitez pas à poser des questions en français, je vais les traduire en temps réel. Donc, let's start with the first question we have, and this question is for Dolby, actually, it comes from Pleasant Sound Media. Apart from immersive podcast, would you see binaural mixes being a part of delivery for video content? Will it essentially replace stereo for streaming platform, or will it be more like an option while choosing playback?
It's a great question, and binaural we really see as kind of a for now solution, because if you take a Dolby Atmos mix, you can monitor it binaurally. Like if you're doing a sound design room, or if you're mixing primarily for headphones, you know, the pre-baked binaural solution is good if headphones is the only place that track is going to go. But Dolby Atmos for podcasting, for example, we see going to living rooms, to smart speakers, to cars. And if you're delivering pre-baked binaural, you're optimizing for headphones, but that's really it. And our research shows that less than 50% of podcasts are actually listened to on headphones. That actually surprised me the first time I heard it. But if you're pre-baking something from Dolby Atmos into binaural, you're kind of locking it out from being presented in its best possible light in different listening configurations. So again, we see binaural as sort of a for now solution in podcasting, but we really don't see it as a long-term type of deliverable.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Hopefully that answers the question. We have another one from someone called EM. What are some, and again, maybe Tom can answer that, and possibly Jeff also, Jeff from Avid. So what are some basic steps a sound editor can make to adjust their home studio to Atmos workflow?
Well, in terms of room design, again, the QR code that I showed earlier, and maybe I can bring it back up later, that gives you the full, hey, here's how you design a mix room for Dolby Atmos. And I think I'm going to answer the third question here in a twofer. What should be the go-to to jump from 5.1 to Atmos? Our minimum recommendation for speaker configuration is 7.1.4. So regular home theater 7.1, left, center, right, pair of sides, pair of rears, and then 4 overheads. But again, for sound design rooms and also honestly emerging markets, we're hearing from some countries that, hey, import tariffs are really a challenge for setting up audio design or mix rooms. Can we have less than 7.1.4? And our answer is yes, as long as there's an understanding with you and your client that that is going to be the monitoring configuration that you're equipped for. So our recommendation is 7.1.4. You can do less, with certain financial constraints. And maybe Jeff, if you want to chime in on Avid considerations.
Jeff, you're muted.
Yeah, everybody, you're muted. So, yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. So there's a lot of ways to deploy Atmos, and the Dolby Atmos production suite, the software only with Dolby Audio Bridge is a compelling way for people to kind of start. And certainly if you're just doing editorial and basic, you've got a 5.1 setup. there's a lot you can do, kind of by putting a toe in the water, and with whether that's Matrix Studio, with Dolby Audio Bridge, and really starting just to kind of get into, work your way up to, as Tom said, 714 is kind of considered kind of the beginning of really perceiving the value of immersive audio with Atmos. But you can start, and if you're collaborating with other people and you're doing 5.1 editorial, and there's a mix stage that has full Atmos, you can absolutely work and pass work back and forth in 5.1, especially with some of the stuff we put into Pro Tools with some of the full intelligent fold downs and things. So yes, hopefully that answers some of that.
Yeah, I have another question. This one's going to be for Mike. Mike from Company Tree. To what? And the question is from Anthony Tsukatos. To what degree a smaller 714 calibrated room with Matrix and SPQ would translate to a bigger room and carry on mixing from there without losing a lot of the readjusting time? So basically, how well does a mix made in a smaller room would translate in something like your theater?
Well, actually, we do that all the time here. It's actually very well. And part of that, though, is the setup. It's a consistency between the tools that we're using, and then as well as the calibration, setup, and design of the rooms, which we took into great consideration here. That's why we have the same monitoring systems in each room. We've had all of our rooms, we actually partner with Dolby and have them involved in the certification and tuning of the rooms with the technologies they use to have like the smaller space, the different theatrical curves, mixed curves, TV curves. So yeah, we can do, in pre-dubbing, we can pre-mix, whether it's effects or dialogue or even Atmos content in rooms in our 7th floor that are maybe half of this volume, and it's seamless, the translation. And actually we do the reverse as well. We'll do a large format mix here and take it down into one of the smaller rooms and take it from, say, theatrical Atmos and sometimes into 7.1 or 5.1 or even into home theater or near-field Atmos for the streamers.
And I see that you wanted to take another one live. You said you wanted to take it. So the question comes from Propeller Sound Studio. Thanks, Mike, and all. Just curious how you're finding music being delivered to the mix in light of Atmos. Still in the composer's typical stem, and then you mix to Atmos in the room, or are the composers delivering differently now? Same goes for SFX and sound design. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no, again, it's a great thing about the format and the tools that we have here. We can, and similar to what Jeff had just said earlier, you can take, there's stuff in Pro Tools, you can take any format, and there's great ways of up-resing and panning it out into the other format. But I think what it is, and typically a lot of the stems still do come in stereo. And from the composers, like the full mix, the stems that make it to give us that flexibility. But I think if you do have the capability or get involved, same with sound effects stuff, the sound designers that do have the capability of the format, they have a bet as they're cutting and doing the creative part of that, they have a better context of how it's going to come to us and pre-balance of it sometimes, and it helps in pre-dubbing and or as a sound designer, their creative intent. I think the similar thing could be said for the composer. Not necessary, but if he has that capability, then he's going to, what he's doing, he's going to be more aware of knowing when it gets to us how it's going to translate and what the overall mix is going to sound like.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I just want to mention we still have at least time for one other question. The question that will not be answered live will be answered offline by email. So don't worry if your question hasn't been answered. I think this one's going to be for Dolby again. Can you explain what Atmos does over 5.1 as far as convincing producers of its value?
Yeah, the first time people hear Atmos, they know that, oh, this is newer, this is more immersive, to be a little hack about describing it. I think the initial fear, just like the initial fear with 5.1, was that the technology is going to be a distraction instead of additionally immersive. And when people hear it, you know, once they mentally get adjusted to it, they really settle into it and they immediately go, oh yeah, this is better. One of my favorite examples to bring up is a studio based here in Los Angeles that is doing foodie documentaries for Netflix. Chef's Table Barbecue, street food, boardwalk pictures. And they have seized on Atmos for all of these food documentaries. And, you know, it's not about the big bombastic scenes. It's about, there's one chef who's out in the water catching shrimp for the meal that she's going to cook later. And there's very, very simple sound design with water lapping against the boat and a little bit of wind and some cicadas in the sky. And it's very simple, subtle sound design. Doesn't take a lot of time. It really doesn't take much more energy to do it in Atmos than it would to do in 5.1, but it just adds that little bit of extra you're there feeling that really immerses viewers in the experience. And so I think Dolby Atmos, once people hear it, they're immediately sold on it.
Thanks a lot, and you are totally right. I mean, it's getting easier and easier to get on the Atmos bandwagon. I would say it's easier than ever. All right, this is the time we had for the questions. I'm going to turn it back to Carrie for the draw. Someone will win a Pro Tools Ultimate subscription. Again, I want to thank everyone for being a part of this. I hope that our audience really liked what they saw and what they heard. Back to you, Carrie.
Thanks, Hugo. Okay, well, this is the part maybe everybody was really waiting for, and that is the draw. And before we get to that, I just want to obviously thank everybody for participating, and just remind everybody that Annex Pro is here to help you out. If you have any questions, and we're going to answer all the questions that came in, we'll follow up with you afterwards. But if you have a project coming up that you think you need to move to Atmos quickly, by all means, go to annexpro.com, send us a note. We'll get back to you really, really quick. We have specialists located all across Canada, and we can absolutely help you with anything to do with audio, products, services, solutions, and that sort of thing. So don't hesitate to ask. No question's too small, and no project is too large. So you'll find us pretty easy to deal with, and happy to hear from you. Okay, let's wrap with this for an Avid Pro Tools Ultimate software. It's a 1-year subscription. The value is $1,000. And right now we're spinning the big wheel and it's ticking down, and I'm getting the winner passed to me from Rebecca, who is running this event from our event. From our side on Annex Pro. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, the winner is Curtis McClelland. So Curtis, stay online, or we'll be in touch. We have your contact information. We'll make sure that we get in touch with you. Congratulations. And we really appreciate everybody being on, spending time with us here today. So with that, we will wrap up, and hopefully we'll be talking to you soon. And please come to our next webinar next month. Keep an eye on annexpro.com. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.